Hey guys, it's Franiki here from Aussies Do Down Under Homeschooling, and today I'm going to be discussing online schooling, so stick around. Hey guys, last week I spoke about different curriculums and where to find them, and one of the options was online curriculum by way of online schooling, and that is what I'm talking about today. But before I get into that, if you're new here or you haven't already, please consider subscribing by hitting that subscribe button down below. So online schooling. Now, online schooling can be a great choice to homeschool your children, and there are many reasons that you would want to online school your children. One of these reasons might be that you just live too far away from your local school. Other reasons may be that you might have a medical, physical issue, so maybe you're wheelchair bound and you'd find it hard to get to school every day, or maybe you have a medical emotional problem. So children who are highly anxious, they may not suit a school environment, so they may choose online school. This could also include ADHD, autism, sensory processing disorders, just to name a few. Or maybe you have a child who has dyslexia and the mainstream schooling or the speed of the mainstream schooling isn't suiting your child. So online school, which could be the same as going to school, might be able to do it in a more appropriate way for, say, a dyslexic learner. Some other things that you may not have thought about is if you have a child who is an elite sports person and they spend a lot of time training, then an online school may be a really good option for them so that they can tailor their learning around their sport. Or maybe they do music, or maybe they do dancing. I know a couple of people who do online schooling and they're elite dancing, like ballet or things like that. Another reason why you might like to try an online school is a lot of options out there will give you a complete curriculum. So if you're new to homeschooling, then an online school might be the idea for you if you're not feeling confident enough to make a curriculum yourself, or you just want something that's really easy, someone else does the work, and then you're just going through the process with your child. Now, online schooling itself, there are so many different options that you can choose from. You can get a set curriculum that covers everything that you need, or you can get partial curriculums and then subsidize where you need it. You also have the option of having your online school done from your government a lot of the time, or from a company, or some schools actually run online schooling as well. So obviously today I can't go through every single online school option, but I thought I would pick a couple from the different areas. So if I talk about two, and mind you, this is very broad. If I give you two options, as in online schooling that has no set curriculum and online schooling that is quite set in its curriculum, but you do have a little bit of leeway in there, I'm going to deal with them in those two options. So first I'm going to talk about the option of online schools with no set curriculum, which usually means you're buying the courses as you go. These are really great for kids who have interest in an area and they want to delve deeper into that area. Or maybe you have an eclectic homeschool and it's something that you can use to subsidize your eclectic homeschool nature. So again, I just want to tell you before I start, I'm not affiliated with any of the companies that I'm sharing today. I really just wanted to give like a broad outlook of what's available for you. But if you Google in your area or you Google online schooling, you are going to see a lot of options. And even if you got onto the Facebook groups or some of the blogs that you'll see out there, there's a lot of people discussing online schools and you have a lot of options. So it's really good to do your own research, find what's right for your family, what accords with your beliefs, everything that I talked about in finding curriculum that is suited to your needs as a family. All that is really important to do prior to picking an online school, if that's your preference. So one of my favorite online schools that you buy courses from, so there's no set curriculum, is called outschool.com. Now, I will put links to all the different places that I'm talking about today down in the description below for you, just in case you're interested to have a look yourself. So Outschool is a USA-based online company that runs hundreds of short courses. These are delivered by certified teachers, sometimes scientists, sometimes enthusiastic learned people in certain areas. And they're all delivered via group chat. They have subjects in all areas, including math, science, language arts, writing skills, coding, art, everything that you can imagine. There is a course for on Outschool. Basically what you do is you join for free and then you buy the program as you wish. So you choose the program you want and you buy that program. So as an example for one of the courses, if you have a child that's interested in Minecraft, there is a course that teaches math, civics and economics using a Minecraft virtual world. This course happens to be a 6-week course and it runs for I think 90 minutes each week, 1 day a week, and is $121 US for the whole course. So one of the great things about these courses that I find really good is that you can go online and when you're looking at the courses, you can check out the teacher that teaches the course, find their credentials, you can see the reviews from other parents whose children have done the courses, and see what the course is about. So find out a little bit about what they're actually going to be learning in that course. So not all of the classes go for a 6-week sort of time period. Some are actually just one-off classes. They could be an hour long or a 2-hour long class, which is really good because if you're teaching your child, say, a particular subject and they're finding an area of that subject difficult and you're trying to find an alternative way to teach them, then you could look on Outschool and find that particular subject you're looking for and just get them enrolled in a one-off course. And some of these courses go for $11, $15. This is in US for just that one course. And this could be, say you're learning about cells, you could find a course 1 day for cells. When I say 1 day, I mean sort of like your hour or your 2-hour length. And another thing about Outschool is that they have varying times a lot of the time for some of the courses. So you will have some that are going to run, because it's a US company, you're going to have some courses that run at say 3, 4, 5 in the morning in Australian time. And you're going to have to get up early, I suppose. So it's good. You can do it before your normal school. But there are some weekend courses and some of those will actually run at a time that's appropriate for Australian time. But if you're in another country, including the US, you are going to love the times because they're in yours. So the last thing I wanted to say about Outschool is that it is with a one-on-one with the teacher in that time. So it's not pre-recorded. You're actually talking in the chat room. You have other children in that chat room. You've got that face-to-face interaction. If you don't understand something, you can ask a question. It's just like being in a classroom, or albeit a small classroom, but you're online. Now, another company that I like that has online learning is called the Khan Academy. The Khan Academy is run slightly different to Outschool, that it is run by videos that are pre-recorded. So you've still got the courses, and there's lots of different courses again, but they're pre-recorded courses. So you can go and say, well, I want to learn this mathematical area. I'll go to grade 6 math, and you have a pre-recorded grade 6, so you're doing algebra or fractions or something like that. You go in, you do that actual lesson on fractions, all pre-recorded, no face-to-face chat room. So the pre-recording sessions are like a tutorial, like you would do at, say, uni, and then you'll have questions that you'll answer to practice what you've just learned. So this can be done on a mobile device as well as a computer, which is great if you're on the road and the kids have only got their mobile devices. They can still do a lesson then. The Khan Academy is a free resource. Yes, I said it, it's free. Sometimes they will ask for a small donation if you can, because it is a not-for-profit company. So they run free courses. You do not have to pay for anything. So the Khan Academy was founded by Salman Khan, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly, and is also a USA company. Now, I wouldn't say that it is a full curriculum. It doesn't offer everything, but it almost offers everything. So it offers engineering, math, science, art and humanities. What have I have on my list? Economics and finance. There is quite a broad range of subjects that you can choose from. One of the other great things about the Khan Academy is that you have practice tests. So all your big exams that are available, you have practice tests. They also have career advice for kids who are leaving school and going on to the next part of their study. And there is career guidance as well. So there's a lot of sort of extra things that they have, which I thought was really great, and all for free. And one of the things I really love is they have a little extra thing called a growth mindset course, which my son was actually doing with his tutor, which is sort of like they've put together a program which encourages a growth mindset, which is really important to teach children. And one of the things that the Khan Academy has for free is the same thing. It's a growth mindset course, and you can go through it with your child, or they can go through it by themselves, and it's just helping to teach them and give them those tools to progress through life with a growth mindset, which again is super important for kids to learn. Now, the Khan Academy is for anyone who wants to learn something, but they do have a dedicated section on their website dedicated to homeschooling, and they go through a step-by-step sort of process on how to use the Khan Academy for homeschooling purposes. Not only do they have that, but they also have parents or homeschooling families that are there and willing to put, their ideas and their reviews of what they've used and how they've gone about it on there. So you can read some of those so you really get a deeper understanding and a really easy sort of foundation to then work with the Khan Academy to homeschool your children. So some of the great things about it that I find really good is it's free. That's always good. You don't have a set timetable. So unlike out school where you have a set time, you have to get online with the teacher, because these are all tutorials pre-recorded, you can do them at any time you like, whenever you like, wherever you like. Another thing I like is that it's free. Did I mention that? And the tutorials are really easy to follow. They can be quite fun, especially for some of the younger kids ones. I've looked at them and they're quite enjoyable, and they have jokes in there just to make schooling a little bit more fun. And the last thing I like is it's free. So the other side of online schooling is the companies or schools that do a set curriculum, or they may have set curriculum and or a partial curriculum that you can purchase. Now, these usually come in 3 different categories, and I'm being quite broad here, but you'll get sort of like a government-run online school with a set curriculum, or you'll have a company that just sells set curriculums, or you may have a school that runs a school normally, but also has an online course that covers children who are homeschooling, or for all those other various reasons we talked about before, need to study online. So the first one I wanted to talk to is the government-run, or speak about, is the government-run school online. Now, in Australia, we used to call it distant education. Now it can be called many different things depending on which state you're in. But distant education was basically an online school that covers exactly the same curriculum that you would do in the mainstream school, but online, but it does have a restricted eligibility usually. It is usually only for children who have restricted access to the mainstream schools for varying reasons. Now, like I said before, some of the reasons why people actually use online schools are the exact same eligibility tests that they usually have for the government-run online school, which is your medical, either physical or emotional. It could be an elite sports person. It could be that you live too far away from the actual school. It might actually be that you've been homeschooling your children and not following an online school, and then your child wants to go to uni and they want to get a score from their year 11 and 12 testing from a mainstream school, so that they don't want to actually go back and do year 11 and 12 in a school. Then most government-run distant education facilities will let them do it because they've been homeschooled before, so they'll let them apply and become part of the distant education process. Another reason a lot of people use the government-run distant education is because they may be traveling around Australia or traveling around your country, wherever you may be situated. Now, a lot of the time, and I've noticed this with most of the states in Australia, this eligibility for travel is restricted to traveling inside Australia. Just check with your particular state's requirements before you decide to do it. Most of the government-run distant education programs or online schooling programs are also restricted to children who are living and registered in that particular state. So say if I'm in Queensland, I can't put my children into a Victorian online school, government-run online school, because they're not eligible. They'd have to go on the one in Queensland. Something that maybe you don't know about in online schooling that is run by the government is that if your child is in mainstream school and wanted to do extra subjects that your child is not able to do at that particular school, you can actually enroll your child to do that subject in an online government-run school, which is something I did not know about, which I thought was very interesting. Now, the same goes if you're registered as a homeschool parent and you wanted your child to do a particular subject in the government-run online school, you can actually enroll your child to do that, which I thought was really interesting. If there's something that they're really wanting to know about or want a deeper understanding, or maybe they need that particular subject, or you don't feel confident in that subject, then they can actually enroll and do 1 or 2 courses in online government-run schools. So the way that the government-run schools is a little bit like the out school. You have one-to-one chat rooms that you will get onto, and your teacher will teach you your curriculum. So you will need an internet ability, you'll need a microphone, a camera, all those sort of technical things will need to be available at your school or at your home school. They will also submit their work online, and there are some textbooks that they'll need to get, but most of the resources will be done through the online process. These resources that they need, the textbooks that they need, are ordered online, and then they're just sent home like any other book sort of package that you get. When you look on your government website for homeschooling or distant education, whichever it's called in your area, they are very giving of information. You have everything there that you need. It is very easy to follow the steps to get started. They really want the child to be able to contribute and get the most out of the school that they can. One great thing that I did not know about distant education, which I thought was really cool, is that your child could actually go to camp. So they run camps for distant education students, and you can participate in that, and they're not that expensive. They're sort of like you would pay in a normal mainstream school, maybe $200 or something like that, depending on the year that you go. When I looked at the fees, there's not a lot of fees involved in distant education. You have a couple of textbooks, but the fees, there wasn't fees to actually join or apply. The fees were more in those extra things that you might want to do, or a couple of textbooks. Because it's very similar to your mainstream schooling, it's just done online and at home. You do participate in sporting things and exams or testing, and you do participate, if you like, in competitions. So if you're wanting to do debating competitions or things like that, they also organise those sort of things as well. Now, a lot of the time, and you will see examples of some of the work online, so if you go into your government website, you're bound to find some examples of what is going on from past students. You'll see they do artwork, they do competitions with the art, they put it up online. You know, it's very interactive, which I thought was really cool. It's not something that I'd thought of before, so I was quite interested to read all about it. And I'm sure in whatever your area, even if you're overseas, there's going to be some sort of equivalent online government-run school in your area. It's just a matter of sort of putting that thing in again, that gov, homeschooling, or government-run education online, Googling those sort of things in your area, you'll probably find the authority, and the authority will have all the information about their online school. So another alternative to your distant education, if you didn't want to follow that mainstream schooling option, you have a lot of schools that actually run online schools, and they can be Christian schools or they can be companies that run it. Some of the schools that run it are Sonlight has an online Christian program. There's ACE that has a Christian program, or there's Australian Christian College that runs an online program as well. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. But there are options out there for you as well. So the Australian Christian College, I think, is Perth-based, but you can do this program from anywhere. I did have a mother that I knew in Extension Education, where Hunter used to go last year, that used to use the Christian Education online platform to homeschool her child, and she's in Brisbane, so you can do it from anywhere. A great thing about this program is they actually have an open day, which is a virtual open day, which I thought was quite quirky and fun. So you can go and have a look at the school virtually and see what the program is offering online on that particular day. Now, the online Australian Christian College program is actually a certified program. So it has a university pathway. So you don't have to stop and then go to a government-run school to do year 11 and 12 to then get into uni, you can go straight from year prep to year 12 in the Australian Christian College and then go from there on to uni. So you'll do all your exams, you'll have your scores that are necessary to get into university, and then you'll move on that way. They use a lot of Apple products, so they do use your computer's Apple. They do suggest using Apple. They use iPads and mobile devices. So if you're into that sort of Apple world, then that's good for you. The good thing about it is that you can do it anywhere. So if you're on holiday, you can take a device with you and usually hook up and do your schooling while you're traveling if you like, or even overseas if you wanted to travel. So you're not restricted in that sense. So in these lessons, they're pre-recorded. Most of them are pre-recorded lessons, which again is good if you're traveling, so you don't have set times. But the other good thing about it is that you can watch them over and over again. So if there's something that you didn't quite get, you can rewind it and watch it again as many times as you need to so that you understand what's going on. Then after the lessons are finished, you then do more research online, and they have active chat groups. So very similar to uni, which I liked about this one because it's getting you ready for university study. Because in uni, most of the time you'll have a tutorial, you'll then have research that you do yourself online or through library books and that sort of media. And then you will have these class discussion groups. So if there's something that you don't understand, you pop it up on this chat group. The teacher will answer questions or give advice, and other students can also ask questions or have discussions about the topic. One of the great things about the Australian Christian College online schooling is that all your textbooks are included in the fee, and the fees range from, and I wrote this down, $850 for your early years to $2,450 in your higher years. So that's a year 12 fee, and the textbooks are included in that fee. Another great thing is that you do not have to be a particular religious belief to use the Australian Christian College online school. They will welcome anyone who wants to join. So then I have a couple of examples of companies that run online schools as well. One of these is the My Homeschool, which is all online. It's based in New South Wales. It runs online programs, full curriculum for any state that you're living in Australia. Now, it is not a complete curriculum. It is missing the mathematics factor, but in saying that, mathematics is one of the easiest things to then substitute with other material or other textbooks, however you like to do it, out of all the subjects. Now, My Homeschool is for prep or kinder up until year 8, so it doesn't do 9, 10, 11 and 12, but in that year kinder to year 8 it does accord with the Australian curriculum. So you can be rest assured that if you use this product that you're going to be following along with the Australian curriculum, and you don't have to worry that you're not giving them the right education. The way this program works is that you become a member, which is $15 to $99 to become a member, depending on the time period that you have for your membership. And then you purchase the course that you want. So if you want to purchase a year 7 course, you would purchase just the year 7 course for that year. Which also means that if your child gets through that year 7 course, you could then purchase the year 8 and start doing that earlier than what than what your child would usually do at mainstream school. The courses range from about $385 for your younger years to about $600 for your higher years. So your year 8 course is going to be $600. And then on top of that, you're going to purchase textbooks, but they're usually in the range of about $200 per year level for your students. So you've got to add that to the cost as well. So I believe that for under $1,000, you're going to have a full education until year 8 for your child. Now it does follow a Charlotte Mason, or it does blend with a Charlotte Mason style of learning. So that one of the great things about this course is that if you are of a particular religious belief, you can make it more secular. So you can take out certain things that you don't believe in or you don't want to teach your children, and you can add in things that you do want to teach your children. So it is quite flexible in that respect. One of the great things I noticed about this course that I thought was really good, if you're new to homeschooling and you have no idea how to start this whole process off, but you like the idea of a Charlotte Mason inspired course, they have a home educator teaching course. So it's going to actually teach you how to teach your children, which if you do that course, you're going to feel a lot more confident when you start actually teaching your kid yourself. And I think it just takes that sort of, that edge off when you're first starting, because it's that unknown. It just helps that unknown become known, and you feel a little bit more secure in what you're about to go on and embark on with your kids. Now, albeit that there's not an ongoing online sort of support in place, so if you need any support, it's emailing them and they will email you back, but they do accommodate for a lot prior to you starting in the first place. So the last online school that I wanted to talk about today is called Complete Education Australia, which unbelievably I found out you do not have to be in Australia or an Australian person to purchase. So if you're overseas and you wanted to do an Australian curriculum because you liked it, you could purchase and do the Australian curriculum. And this program could be a great alternative if you wanted to travel with your children overseas. So you know how in the distance education, you can't actually use that with a government-run online school. This one you can, and the previous one I just spoke about, you can purchase it, go studying. You might be traveling around Europe for the year or traveling around the United States for a year if you're in Australia, and you can use it in that respect. So it's a great alternative for the distant education if you wanting to leave the country and still educate your children at the same time. A great thing that I noticed that this company offers is that it actually comes with your educational plan. So a lot of authorities in Australia, homeschooling authorities, require you to do, and I've spoken about this in previous episodes, they require you to do an educational plan yearly, most of them, telling them how you're going to teach your children and what you're going to teach your children, and they will approve or not those plans. And then you'll give them an update at the end of the year of how that went in another sort of report that you do. And then also in part of that is the next year's plan. So this company actually provides that for you, and they guarantee that it's going to pass. So it doesn't matter which state you're in, they will give you that plan and they have a guarantee. So hopefully that means that they're going to help you correct anything if it doesn't, but that's what they say. They guarantee that it will be accepted by your state's homeschool authority. So that's really good, because that takes a lot of pressure off. I know one of the biggest things people get scared of is doing those homeschool authority plans or reporting, because you're so worried you're not going to get it right or you're not going to be accepted because of it. So it kind of takes the edge off and gives someone else that responsibility, and you just have to follow along. So Complete Education Australia also offers a very flexible curriculum. You can do it anytime, anywhere that you like. You are basically downloading PDFs of the coursework that you're doing, which means that you can then be on the road. You do not need a computer to do a lot of it. A lot of it is, even though it's online, it's not quite online. So you'll have that PDF version of whatever you're learning at the time. You can then do it in the car, driving places, which is great because it's very flexible. Another great thing about this program is it also has advanced courses. So if you have a gifted kiddie, then your child might be into a certain area or need a little bit of advancement, they offer that as well for your child. They are very transparent on their course outlines online, so you can get onto, and I will have links to all of these programs down below in the description. You can get online and see basically what your child's going to be learning in mathematics in year 4, in science in year 4, if your child's in year 4, just an example. Everything they're going to learn in that subject at that time, and they'll give you like a little rundown, little synopsis of what they're going to learn. Another great thing, and I always say this is a testament to a good company, is they actually give you the first week. I think it's the first week or the first lesson. You'd have to have a look. I can't remember now exactly, but they'll give you the first week or the first lesson for free, and that's across the entire program. So if your child is in year 4, then math, science, English, humanities, whatever they're learning, they'll give you that first lesson or first week of lessons so you can start the program, yes? And then if you like it, you buy it after that and you move on and you keep going. But you're getting that whole lesson for free to try it and see if it's going to accord with you and be great for your children and whether they're going to one of the philosophies that the program has is that they teach children with a hands-on approach. They want the children to learn by doing rather than just by books and just reading all the time. Complete Education Australia also has email and online support ongoing all the time. So if you get stuck with any of the program, then you can email them or get online and call them, via their chat program, and find out what you need to find out, or any of that support or technical support that you need for the program. The program is both online and with textbooks and these PDFs that you can print off and do anywhere. So it's quite broad in the way that it brings in the information or that you're learning. And some of the programs are subscription based. So with mathematics, they have subscriptions to I think it's called Mathletics, and they also have Literacy Planet. So a lot of those programs they're actually using in mainstream school. So it's quite similar that you would find there. So you know that your child's getting something that most of the children out there are doing the same with. Now the prices for the courses range, I think, from $585, so 585 Australian dollars, to about 685 Australian dollars for some of the higher grades. Now, one thing to know is they only go from prep or kindergarten to year 10, I believe. Because they're very interesting, they actually see it in a different way. They encourage the student to then do like a year 11, instead of doing year 11 and 12 in a mainstream school, they actually suggest that you do your university entry via TAFE. So you would go and do a certificate 3 or 4 at TAFE, which would then give you entry into university. And a lot of the time that's actually going to do some of the subjects you might do in a foundation year in university. So you're going to get credits to that, and you're going to be ahead of the ball game to some of these year 11 and 12s who are coming into university without those credits. So it's going to give you that, they believe it gives you a better foundation for entering uni from that method than going back to year 11 and 12 at school. So for all those homeschooling mums and dads who are feeling nervous, they do have a lot of support again in setting yourself up and helping your child get through the program. And they also have a lot of scope and sequence sort of documents to help you know where you're going and timetabling and that sort of thing to help you and support you as a homeschool family. So there you have it. They are some of the options you have available for online schooling, both full curriculums and partial curriculums for you. And these are just the ones in Australia. Now remember, if your authority doesn't require you to follow a particular curriculum, then you can also purchase curriculums from overseas. So if you see something that you prefer in the US and you see a company, you go, oh, that's a great curriculum, really broad, or it accords to my beliefs, or I really think my child would love this particular curriculum, then you are free to buy that curriculum overseas. So the ones I've shown you are just available in Australia, but as I said, some of them you can actually use if you're not from Australia. If you're over in the US or you're in Europe, you can actually use a couple of these courses and do this curriculum if that's what you like and if your authority lets you. So I hope that this has helped you, especially for some of those homeschool mums and dads, those really new, you haven't actually even made that jump to homeschooling yet. And some of those things that are holding you back is that fear of not knowing what to teach. And that was one of my biggest fears when I started. I thought, I have no idea what to teach. Well, this could be an option for you. So if you want to make sure that your child is getting the curriculum that they need, this is a great option. You've got it all there. It's all set out in a lot of these ways, and you can just follow the curriculum and you don't have to have that fear of not knowing what you're doing. And like some of these courses actually had that support to help you as a teacher, to really help you understand what your role is and to help your children to learn. So there's a lot of support out there, and albeit you can do it in a partial program or singular courses or day courses or a whole curriculum, there's a lot of options and you can have a lot of flexibility in the way that you purchase them. And most of them are relatively well priced. You know, there's nothing in the tens of thousands of dollars. You don't have to worry about that. You know, most of them were under $1,000, which is, you know, really quite reasonable. And some of them, like the Khan Academy, is free. So, and the distant education, the government run courses are, you know, they're very low fee sort of options. So there's options for everyone, every budget, every need. There's things to help children who have difficulty in learning for whatever reason, and there's courses to help children who are high achievers and need to learn more. So you have a lot of options for online school, and it's definitely something you should consider when starting to homeschool, especially if you're not that type of person who is confident in creating your own curriculum. So there you have it. Next week, I'm going to be talking about getting ready for the new 2020 school year and starting off your school year with a bang. But until then, if you haven't yet, or you feel like it, or if you've really loved this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing, because we love to have you on board. I will be back next week with a new video, but until then, see you later, guys.